Welcome to Worlds Collide, a wrestling card podcast for wrestling fans by wrestling fans, featuring Tony Vella from WrestlingTradingCards.com.
This is like a stock market.
And Zhan Morning from Wrestling with Cards on YouTube. And I'm not saying there's a right or wrong answer, I'm just posing the question. Join them as they navigate the world of wrestling cards, helping you build a bigger and better collection and making some money along the way. What is up, wrestling fans? Worlds Collide, back again, colliding. And wow, do we have a doozy today? I never thought that we'd be talking about a product that Tony actually owns the rights to. And
please. I do not. I want to be explicitly clear here, folks. It's a long, ongoing joke, unlike the fact that Zhan's favorite wrestler is The Miz. That's a fact. This is totally fabricated work here, folks. So no,
I don't know. I'm pretty sure some people saw it when we did the storage unit sales. I'm pretty sure people were trying to point out your printing press and the boxes that were still sealed you had back there.
I want to see some video evidence of this. Anybody have this on record? Because I don't have a record of it. So
we'll let the audience figure that out. But today we are talking about the mystery, which, you know, we just said maybe it's not so much a mystery anymore, of the WCW. Do we call it Impel? Do we call it Stomp? Wrestling cards. Everybody knows these things. Where do we start?
Well, let's start with the name.
Yes.
Now, we were just talking briefly before we started recording tonight that I recently made a discovery. Well, it wasn't recent, but I recently went ahead and finally changed it. Hell, that's not even right. I changed it a while ago. I relaunched the websites like that, but I forgot to change it on the main checklist page. So under the 1991 checklist page, it's still listed as the 1991 WCW Premier Edition Trading Cards by Impel. That is actually not the official name of this card set. The official name of this card set is 1991 WCW the Stomp Collection Premier Edition Trading Cards by Impel.
So where do you think the disconnect came from between us forever knowing this is, that's the Impel set, as opposed to all of a sudden Stomp came along? I did a whole Patreon request, which if you want to join my Patreon, links in the show notes.
Please do that.
There was a request by a patron at the certain at the certain tier of the group where you can request video topics. His request was Impel cards. Let's talk about them. And within that, I put the commercial for the Stomp set.
Good. And that's the only evidence of them actually calling it that, by the way, outside of the binder. The official binder listed it as well.
So where do you think the disconnect is there as far as like the branding? Because I mean, that's a pretty big
clearly the disconnect there is because Impel, which is, people just call that because it's Impel. I mean, we all have our acronyms and short names for things that we call things. I mean, we live in a world of nothing but acronyms. And so it's just called the Impel set. Everybody knows that. It's just sort of the Impel set when we talk wrestling cards. I mean, Impel made a lot of great, cool, nostalgia type stuff. I mean, we got those, heavy metal cards. We got, rock cards. They got, they did all kinds of stuff, all kinds of music stuff for them. And so when we talk in the wrestling community, we say Impel. Everybody knows you're talking about the 1991 WCW set. But that's what people just call it. They call it the Premier Edition trading cards, or everybody else, including Beckett, including probably Card Trader, Card Database. Everybody else calls it the 1991 WCW Premier Edition trading cards, or 19 WCW Impel. But its official name is the Stomp Collection. That's what it was called. That's what the advertising was for, both in publications and on that commercial. Impel dropped the ball by not putting that, for whatever reason. I don't know why. They didn't put it on boxes or packs.
Yeah, it's just weird that we would go that many years of calling it something, and then all of a sudden, wait a minute, we find out evidence that it was actually the Stomp Collection, and they had the binders produced for it, but yet the packs and it's just
I think the binders. The binders are far and few between. First off, I have a couple of them. One is not in so good condition. One I'm keeping because it's in really good mint condition. But you know, that was even having those just kind of evidence years ago. Oh, Stomp Collection. Huh. It's kind of like bypass. I just noticed that it's the Impel set. It's the WCW Impel set. We all called it that since the very beginning. I mean, when I got into the collecting, it came out. Just the Impel set. You had to mail away for that binder. It didn't come in anything else. It wasn't any collector's kit that I'm aware of. I think it just has a mail-in offer on the wrapper itself, and that was it. So, I mean, the boxes don't have any indication it's called the Stomp Collection. It's just, you know,
Got
it is
one,
what
right?
it is.
Well, it's back there somewhere, but yeah, I never saw it until I saw that. I think you said maybe said something, and then all of a sudden I saw that commercial pop up, which you never see wrestling card commercials
Isn't that
anyway.
awesome? That was awesome.
Yeah. So I had to include that in the video I did. So if you guys want to check that out, check out my YouTube channel, Wrestling with Cards. Again, links in the show notes, and check out that whole video we did, because I talked about a lot of interesting things. Some of that we're going to talk about today, but let's go over the release recap. Just some hit on some aspects of the set that you like or that you think are worth pointing out.
It's a very colorful set. I think it actually is a great representation of that time in wrestling. It represents especially that company too.
Yeah.
You know, it's not my cup of tea for what I like per se. It's a big card set, 162 card set. You know, they broke it down. A whole set is broken down into, you know, wrestlers get their sections. So they'll be like, you know, Sting,
I hate
followed
that.
by Lex Luger, and I don't like that either. It's what I don't like about the set. It's like, you know, all Sting. Then it's you know, the next set of cards are all Lex Luger. Then Sid Vicious. Then Ric Flair. Then Anand. You know, that kind of stuff. I don't know, but I'm telling you, collectors love this base set strictly because of its design. And so much, and it's been copied so much by so many people, from PWG stuff, from other knockoffs and bootleg things. People love this design and mimic it a lot.
Yeah, that's the first thing that I noticed is all the indie cards borrowing from I'm not gonna say ripping off or stealing, borrowing.
No borrowing. I mean, they're inspired by it.
Right.
It's a fun. It pops. You know, having this colorful, multicolored type of you know, with Ric Flair cards to be like all yellow with these little, you know, rice, you know, red rice type color things inside of it. It's just very poppy, and it's just
so
you know,
90s.
It's so exactly. It's so 90s, even for being early 90s. It's so 90s. And then just, I do like the images that are used on a lot of the cards.
Most of them are good. Yes. I said, I hate the fact that the wrestlers are grouped together in the cards. Oh, another interesting note. This technically 1990. I think there's a 1990. I want to say I did a video on it, and I can't even remember. I think it was the board game Slamorama that came out in 90. But then
Yeah,
the first
Slamorama, yeah.
The first official year of WCW Cards, once I took over from the NWA, was 1991. So this is an inaugural release, essentially. I mean, you had the championship marketing also, but these are the first WCW cards if you don't count the board game. So there's that. There's the design. The set itself has a lot of firepower with the names, despite maybe you don't like the design. But like you said, Tony, it sums up that time period. Sting, Ric Flair, Steiner Brothers, my personal favorite, 80s metal overweight versions of the Freebirds.
Yeah.
Like, and Michael Hayes with his like really thick eyeliner. I don't know if he was trying to be like Blackie Lawless or what, but just fantastic look. The design, again, people love this. Like, this is one thing I want to say. Like, when I was a kid, and yeah, I dabbled with wrestling, of course, but I started getting really into basketball cards. And no matter what hobby store you went to, they had WCW Impel. And occasionally I was like, I got some of these cards at home, but man, I want to buy a pack and see what's in there. Like, I know there's no hit cards, there's no chases except for one, which we'll talk about in a minute. But I was like, I just want to buy these. They're just so cool. And I still do that to this day. Like, and I'll see it on Twitter. Like, people will be like, well, they didn't have any basketball, but I bought some WCW Impel. Let's have some fun. I'm like, yes. Yeah. And the fact that they're still around for people to print, like, this stuff had to be printed to the moon. If you're you know, telling the truth and you're not actually reprinting these things, like, was there ever like a full print run of these released or anything? Any information on that?
None of these guys ever give print runs like that. You know, most of these companies don't give you print runs on their actual it was rare when you have a company like TriStar was putting out the TNA product. You had an idea what the print run was because the boxes were numbered.
Right.
So they came numbered. You knew how many boxes were in. And sometimes they would even advertise on their sell sheets that, this is going to be limited to X amount of cases. And those cases had X amount of boxes. And you could just do the math and you can figure out what the print run was on that. But yeah, this stuff, like every other company, they don't give you print runs on what they're putting out there. But I guess it's kind of easy to tell. Like you said, everywhere you went, you'd find WCW 91 along with basketball stuff.
Still, to this day,
to this
2022,
day.
you can still find them.
But that gives you kind of a testament to, yeah, they probably printed it like any other sport and any other, this is probably the only wrestling card set out there that got printed to the level of like every other type of sport.
Do you think maybe they did that because it was a product of the time? Because I mean, like, if you want to talk about late 80s into early 90s, that
NBA
joke wax,
hoops and all that crap, all that stuff. I mean, they're still printing that too.
Yeah, the 89 Upper Deck King Griffey Jr.
Upper Deck, yeah. I mean, they printed the hell out of that, which it doesn't seem to hurt its value too much. It still seems to go really well for
We're going to talk about that later in the show. You mentioned cases. This is something we've got to discuss. For the longest time, the Sting hologram, which is the best card in this set, bar
100%.
None.
Yep.
For the longest time, we were told, we knew about it as being a case hit. However, we've had multiple people now say, "Hey, I pulled that in the pack." You cannot prove these things unless you saw it on a break, and I don't know of anybody breaking Impels. But
yeah, I've never seen it, and I mean, I can go on. Finish your thought. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say. Like a lot of the people that have told us are like trustworthy people, but at the same time, like, we've never heard this. So what do you think?
I'm tossed. I really am, because without anybody that came from Impel that can kind of validate this, I think even some of the more bigger names in our hobby, like the Rob Englands out there, even said that they pulled one from a pack. I think I'm not sure 100%, but it's hard, when you can't validate something through a video or something like that, or seeing it from a break or a live. It's hard to just to take that as like fact. So it puts me and a team of people that help out for WTC. It puts us in a really weird position to like to authenticate this and say where it came from. Does it exist? 100% exists. So grading companies can grade to their heart's content on this, and they have on this particular card. But where its origins are from, it still remains a mystery today. There's no 100% certainty that it's pack or a case hit, a case incentive for dealers. Who knows? I mean, until somebody from Impel says like, I worked for the company at the time, I can tell you this is where it came from. I love to interview that person and just find out. But
anybody's got connections with anybody that used to work with Impel and you're listening to this, hit us up on social media. Just tag us on Twitter. DMs are open.
So it is. I agree with you though too. It is the card to have in this entire set. I had a bunch of them. I think of that storage unit sale. I sold 3 of them to one person. I kept a few for myself, but yeah, it's just it's a mystery, and I hope that someday we can find out somewhere down the road, someone's going to know and be able to confirm this, and I'd love to get it updated on the site, but who knows. Anything else you want to talk about on the initial release before we get into some kind of things we've noticed more modern on the set? Continuing on with things that we'll never know until I can actually confirm from some people. If you go to the WrestlingTradingCards.com website and check out this checklist, it's pretty detailed about everything that we do know to date about this, kind of like we try to do with every checklist. Somebody one time at one point in time said that there might be some that have a 1992 copyright date on it.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
I've never seen one. No one's ever been able to accurately produce one. So it's strictly a rumor until proven otherwise. But that's pretty much the only other, rumor about this particular card set. The name itself, we talked about that. The binder's kind of cool. If you ever seen, it's a nice, cool purple binder. It shows the cards, different card numbers from on the check. I think it's 8, 143, and 157 cards on there. It's a cool binder. It's nice thick 3-ring, I think a 2-inch binder, I think it is. It's a pretty thick binder.
This is the type of set I think that would be good in a binder. Like,
Yeah.
you've got the bind. Like, I know a lot of people don't do binders anymore because everyone wants slabs, but I still like binders for certain things. And I mean, if you had the matching binder to go with the set that it's supposed to go in, why not?
That's what I love about Comic Images releases. I got a binder for every single set they have, and I have multiple binders for every single set from that. And if they had a binder, to me, it was a part of the set. Don't have my quotes for you audio people.
Yeah.
It was part of the set. Just like it was like when you had Comic Images, they put what they call a 6-up sheet inside where it has 6 uncut cards inside there. That was like your little, 1-pocket sheet that went with the binder. Well, there were 72 cards in this set, 72. So there's 12 different uncut sheets. Had to go out and get all those too.
Right.
So it's just, you have all those, and it was kind of cool. But fun fact about this set, by the way, for its popularity, is talk to Paul Anand from the Wrestling Card Price Guide. It is his #1. He does things called flip throughs on for many of his pages for his price guide, which are incredible to go through because he owns just about every damn card there is out there. So to go through it, and it is the #1 flip through video of his entire website. Can you believe that? But bar none, nothing even close. All Wrestling All-Stars doesn't come close to it. The WCW autograph card, none of that stuff comes close to.
Why do you think that is?
He wants to know this fact too, and so I want to know too. But who knows? Who knows why that particular set, this mass-produced set that people want to try and shove high grades down our throats, which I'm sure we're going to talk about. Why is it getting all these views? Why do people seem to be so gravitated towards this? Is there some kind of an algorithm on Google when people go and do searches for wrestling cards? It seems to show up more than anything else. I don't know.
Speaking of how we don't know, that's kind of, I've got 3 main points that I think both of us have kind of mutually came up with that we've noticed when it comes to this set. And the first one you had mentioned, why are so many of these cards getting graded? I have a long, lengthy explanation, so I'll let you start.
I don't have anything really other than the fact that I think that my theory is that people are trying to force this to be the next big thing in wrestling. That's what they're trying to do. They want to go out there because these cards aren't as condition sensitive as a lot of other cards. They're on a standard type of card stock that doesn't have a whole lot. It's white border, or no, colorful bordered, that doesn't seem to fray too much because the backs are all white border. But it doesn't seem to fray very much. Doesn't seem to have many issues when it comes to your corners if they're pack pulled and the edges themselves. Now, obviously that can change when it comes to like centering, of course, and surface issues and stuff like that. But it's just, it's so mass produced. There's so much of it out there that your odds of getting a high grade are going to be higher, I think, than any other of the wrestling cards that's out there, I think. So I think people are just trying to force it down collectors' throats as like, hey, this is a Ric Flair, early Ric Flair, 1991. This is an early Sting, 1991. This is like, without really even knowing their history of cards, basically, or the history of the industry, period, and kind of forcing it upon us as like, this is the next, All Stars. This is the next, same with Classic. Classic is in the same boat as this. It's just shoving Classic down the throats of people. It's like being, there's a few cool key cards in Classic. Yes, there's nothing key in Impel. There's no rookies. There's no like short prints.
Brian Pillman, if you want to count him.
I guess, sure, true that. I mean, but there's nothing that's going to be, and no disrespect again, there's nothing that's going to be like, high-end dollar kind of thing when it comes to like rookie, like, oh, you got to get that,
like 2002 Flair Royal Rumble kind of thing.
Yeah. And there's no PN news in here. I mean, come on.
Wow, that's a deep cut for WCW historians. But okay, so here's kind of my theory on how all of this started. I think during pandemic, when PSA got backed up, and I'm just using PSA as an example as a time frame, I think a lot of people started saying, oh, okay, well, there's money in graded cards. what can I grade? Oh, well, these WCW Impel cards, they look really, as you said, they look really clean. I think I can get a 10. Okay. So they send them to PSA to clearly just try to make some money off of a very inexpensive card, possibly even cards that they were just like given in lots or something. So take that logic, and now there's people out there wanting to rip packs because everybody's a pack fiend now apparently, and they can't, they get butthurt when they can't find stuff at retail. It just ruins their day. So people are like, I can't find basketball, I can't find baseball. You know what? I see these WCW Impel boxes all over the
everywhere
place for $10 sealed. I bet you I can open those and get some PSA 10s. I don't even care what it is. If I can get a PSA 10 on a card that usually gets, pretty good condition, honest condition sensitive, as you said, I bet I can make some money on these. And that's what they started doing.
This was back in the time too, when if I'm only a silver status on my PSA memberships like that, but I sent all my cards in at $12 a piece.
Same, yeah.
And so that's a good price. I mean, it's a cheap price, compared to today, of course. But you're sending them in and you're throwing the dice at $12 a piece on some cards that maybe you can flip for 100.
Yeah, yeah, that's exactly what. Like, maybe not even like, if you got if a card's $1 and you pay 12, it's $50. Yeah. I mean that's different now because you if you happen to get in on PSA with one of their economy giveaway type things, it's $50 a card. Yeah. Or if you're doing SGC, it's $30 a card. So at $12, you're correct. I mean, you'd be doing good on your margins, but
sure. But especially because you're into these cards for like pennies.
Right. So that is my, I guess that's my idea of why we're seeing so many, and it's not just PSA either. We're seeing them in SGC slabs. We're seeing them in CSG slabs. That being said, there are some PSA and BGS slabs out there that do have autographed copies. That's a whole different ballgame.
It's a whole different ballgame, though.
But just as far as the actual graded cards, I think that may be why we're starting to see so many of them come out now.
Super valid. Yeah, absolutely. I could totally see that.
And that leads into the next thing is currently in these cards as they are, whether it's boxes, packs, raw, graded, is there any inherent value in these cards?
You're asking me, huh?
What do you think?
I personally don't think I would ever send in an Impel card to get graded because I don't feel there's any true value in it for me long term. There are so many other cards of the characters, of the personalities that are in this set that are more worth my time and money to go after if I was so inclined to go after those people. Impel is just not the place for it. And it's not, I'm not doing a public service announcement of like, trying to bash Impel cards and say that they're not, worth grading or this, that's to each their own. I mean, if the Impel set was like something I go, you know what? My objective, my goal is to get all 162 cards graded. That's what I want to get. I would just go like, you know what? It's a PC stuff. I'll go to HGA or something like that to have some kind of a colorful design of a cool slab to put in that matches the theme of the actual card. That would be something I would do. But I don't think there's no $1,000 card in this set. There's no, at any grade, at any level, there's none.
No, even the Sting hologram, like a higher graded one,
and that's probably $600. That's by far the most condition sensitive card in this entire thing because of that hologram stuff. Is just very scratchy, it can be very bad. So yeah, that's the only thing. And even that, if that was a 10, that ain't $1,000 card.
Right.
Not in my lifetime.
Well, I don't know. I maybe eventually.
I just don't think about it.
I think I've seen it hovering around like $600. So give it 10 years.
Maybe. Oh, has it?
So, yeah.
Really? So a PSA 10?
I don't know about the 10, but the higher grade ones. I'll check while we're doing this. It's live while we're recording. Let's see what we got.
Now, I just, there's nothing in this set. I can go over the checklist right now and look at the whole thing, and there's really nothing in it that jumps out to me that says, this is the next, big card. Like,
right.
Is Z-Man going to become a big money card? Is El Gigante going to be a big card? I mean, Mr. Wall Street. I mean, again, no disrespect to any talent on here. They're all legendary people on here, but the set doesn't yield anybody that's going to be, worth spending $50 to get graded now or more.
So looking up some recent sales, there are next to none that are graded. Now, there are a bunch listed. So here's some prices, kind of all over the place.
100.
PSA 8, 200.
Okay.
PSA 7, 175. Authentic, so not actually graded, but just the authentic autograph, 250. PSA 7, 675. PSA 6, 150. PSA 7,
675 for a PSA 7.
That's just the, that's just, oh, no, sorry. PSA 8, Pop 7.
Pop 7. It's a PSA 8 asking for 670. Is it autographed?
No.
Oh, okay, Jesus.
So it looks like between $250 and $500 is about what the PSA 8s to PSA
That's
9s
the listing prices, not what's closed.
No sold prices, just raw sold.
So these are all, again, these are all inflated prices for people looking for a cash grab on stuff. And, they're probably into it for, 15, 20 bucks on the card. They're going to throw a big high value on it. And like, you know what? I'll just sit. All it takes is one.
Yeah.
It just takes one.
That's true.
That listing fee in their store, whatever, just keeps repeating itself. Doesn't cost them a dime. Doesn't cost them a dime. Just keep listing, keep listing, keep listing. Someone bites it, they sold it.
Right. Yep.
But I don't think it's worth that. It isn't worth it. And I think the market's showing that too. I don't think anybody's buying those cards. As you said, there's nothing closed. These are probably the same ones every 30 days. You're going to see them listed again.
People were buying them at some point. I know that because we started hearing about how WCW Impel PSA cards are a thing. But I just went and looked, and like even like some decent, great. So I say decent. Let's say PSA 8s, hypothetically. A lot of those are selling for $8, $9, $10.
Okay.
So
yeah,
nobody's like.
To put it in music terms, I'm sorry. The 1991 WCW Stomp Collection, premier trading cards by Impel, is the Milli Vanilli of wrestling cards.
Wow. Wow, that's brutal. Wait, are you just saying that to pump up your new and improved Impel?
Nope. No,
okay.
No new and improved. You just don't keep beating a dead horse in the mouth, man. Leave it alone. It's done. So it's just it's yeah. I single-handedly made sure this does not hold any value. The second I start seeing prices increase, I'm printing more.
That's exactly what happened. It's all making sense now.
It's all making sense to you now. I don't get the allure of this particular release being a big thing. I think it's a bit of what you said about why it's got this popular thing and why people are doing what they're doing. I think it's also because of what I believe is, they're out there trying to create something that just isn't sticking. And they want this to be.
We've talked about that several times before with other sets.
And I also think, that's what people were just they were trying to force new things during this pandemic when everybody was spending money left and right on cards.
Yeah.
But anything that could be like the next big thing. That's what happened with the Panini sticker card from The Rock. It was the huge thing that will probably still hold some value. I mean, obviously over time, it's still going to continue to hold value, but it doesn't hold anywhere near what it did when it first came out. I saw these guys at local shows trying to get $1,200, $1,500 for, a raw sticker because it was so nicely centered and you're going to get this. And first off, when I see someone trying to sell me something, it says, this has a potential to be this, or it's nicely centered, it's going to get a high grade. If it's so damn good, why don't you send it in for grades like that then, okay? Yeah. It's just like, it's the equivalent
if it's that
of
good, I'd pay the express price or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, if it's that good, pay the express price, man. If this card's $1,000, you think it should be a $10,000 card, spend the $300 to go get it and just really make your money. If you believe in it that much. It's the same as like going to all these different card shows and you see these guys all selling the same damn sports cards going, it's rare. If it's so rare, there's 35 of you in here and you all have one copy of it.
Yeah.
This is one place. It makes no sense to me, but
I've got some interesting opinions that are probably thinking outside the box. Of course, like I just inherently do that, I guess.
You are an outside the box person.
Very, I'm not bragging. It just is what it is. I mean, I think my Turbo Man behind me just says it all.
It's clearly what it is. I was going to comment on that earlier, but it's like, I'm going to leave it alone, man. I'm going to leave it alone. I don't want to hurt his feelings. I've yet to see him cry. I don't want to see him cry yet.
Not yet, but we'll see. All right. So let's talk about the boxes. In general, people want to talk about wax. Oh, hold sealed wax. It's a good investment. And there's only so much of it. Yes, that is true with most products. However, with this one, I have a box back here. It's sealed. I
I
plan
see
on
it.
keeping it because I like having sealed boxes. I think it's just a cool reminder of going to the LCS as a kid and seeing all those boxes. It's just something cool to have. Got it for I think I paid like $10 for it.
I kept
So
one for myself. I remember we had my storage unit thing, and I had 4 boxes. I sold 3 of them.
I think they're going for like maybe $40 right now,
Okay.
which is better than what, it's
Better when I sold them for.
that like there's going to be a value because I think people just like to rip stuff.
That product itself, that's probably the only thing for Impel that's got going for itself, is that sealed product for that is the value in that product.
Yep. But then I have to question, okay, hypothetically, let's say these Sting cards are case hits. They're not pack pullable. Like, what are you going for in there? Graded or not graded? Like there's like, it's just got to be, people are just doing it because it's a fun rip and that's it.
Sure.
So from the box price, I don't know that it's really that good of an quote here, air quotes again, investment, because there's not a lot in there. That being said, the more people rip, the more it's going down. But if they printed it to the moon,
but if you go someplace and go to like a flea market and someone's going to sell to you for $10, it's a good pickup.
Oh, yeah.
That's
absolutely.
I mean, it's value right now. You said it's going for 40. Well, I just profited $30 and according to the market right now. So
right,
why not? But
well,
I wouldn't be spending $40 on a box right now to hold on for even a longer term.
No, yeah, and that's,
but it might.
Talking about, buying a bargain, that's a whole nother topic for another show. Is, you can buy anything and make money on it. Like, you don't have to necessarily know the product. It's all about margins, but that's a good idea. We might do that sometime. But anyway, 2 other ideas I have that are a little bit outside the box as far as like long-term value. I don't know. Okay, let's start with the first one. I think this would be a really good gateway option for people getting into wrestling cards coming from other avenues, because you can go out and buy a cheap PSA 7 or an 8 for $10. Maybe they don't know what PSA is. So here's a chance to own a PSA slab in a card that looks cool, and you can buy it for $10 and kind of inspect it and learn how, what does the serial number mean? What does this mean over here? How do they put, and I know that sounds stupid to a lot of people, but a lot of people don't, like, still to this day, they're a little bit intimidated with grading. If they're interested, they're like, I don't know how it works. I don't know what a slab is. I don't know the size of it. So maybe it's a good entry point for somebody getting into wrestling cards coming from, another type of collectible or something. Hey, I can throw $10 down on eBay and get a Ric Flair graded card. I don't really care what the grade is. I just want to learn about it.
That's a definite cheap introduction for sure.
100%. And I said Ric Flair. I mean, you got Ric Flair, you got Sting, you got Brian Pillman, you got Steiner's, like all these names. It's a cheap way to get into a graded version of a card. I know grading is not everything. I don't have like my Karrion Kross collection. None of it's graded. I have a couple of slabs that are like authenticated autos, but I'm not grading any of it because I don't care. But for some people, like, grading is the thing. So maybe this is a good intro, or maybe it's a good thing for kids.
But even on the flip side of not grading, it's still a cheap and affordable way to get into the hobby of wrestling cards that feature names in the history of this business that people recognize and know. So it's a cheap way to get in, to kind of like, hey, I have some Ric Flair cards. Hey, I have some Sting cards. Oh, you like Sting? Oh, my kid likes Sting. He watches them on AEW. Well, hey, here he was back in the day, WCW. So I mean, it's a cheap way and a very affordable way to get into it. So that's a great thing to have for the hobby.
So let's move on to something that could actually have some monetary value. Set registry. We've seen this with a couple of different sports cards recently, where the most common basic card in a PSA 10 grade is going for several hundreds of dollars, close to the $1,000, and we're talking like no name players.
Yep.
And the reason being is because if it's a PSA 10 and there's only 1 or 2 of them out there, there are people out there in the set registry trying to complete run PSA 10s of a full set.
Yep.
So I could see somebody saying, you know what, I really like grading. I want to do this set registry thing. But when I was a kid, or when I was really into wrestling, 1991 WCW Stomp Impel, that was my set. That's what I remember ripping. That's what my mom bought me all the time. I want to go back and I want to try to get a full run of PSA 10 slabs.
That's a very interesting, good point. It's like that. Actually, it sounds fun, actually.
Yeah, that's the other thing, is like it becomes a chase in a product where there is no chase.
Yeah. You've created a level of chase for yourself for a
Right.
product that doesn't yield any actual chase.
Right. I mean, it's not
Yeah.
something I would ever do, but I understand it. And I would, if somebody said they were doing that, I would be like, yes, I want to see this thing happen. And I would like cheer them on the whole way.
You're kind of
So,
inspired. This is inspiring me now for something.
oh no, I should.
No, really, it's something that could be fun.
It
I
could
kind
be.
of like that. I kind of like that. I'm
And
gonna think about it. I'm gonna think about it. So maybe when we record again next time, I'll have an idea.
hypothetically, I guess maybe we'll talk this through. Let's see live while we're recording, doing this on the fly. Let's see what the last PSA 10 of any WCW Impel card sold for, and maybe that can kind of give us a ballpark of, what the value could be putting this whole thing together. So here we go, right off the top. Sid Vicious, card number 34, PSA 10, $12.50. Arn Anderson, card number 50, PSA 10, $35.
Oh, okay.
Here's another Sid Vicious, PSA 10, $22. Here's a Ric Flair, $80. So there's my favorite, card number 37 is one of my favorite Ric Flair cards ever. PSA 10, $100. That one typically goes for more than anything.
And that's going to be your high one anyways from that set, I think. But so what would you say of all those prices you just said? I can't remember now. What would be the average price point?
Probably $30 to $40.
So let's say $35. Okay. To get to go out and complete.
You can't even grade a card for that right now.
Yeah. So say for $35 is your average price to buy these. So I mean, you can go out and buy them like that right now. I mean, so say your average price is $35 times 162 cards for the set. You're looking at over $5,500.
Yep.
It's $5,670. So that's an impressive investment to have the highest grade of a set registry of a basic garbage set.
Yeah, and really, $5,500.
Now you've created value. Now there's value.
Exactly, and $5,500 really is not that much money compared to what some of these cards out there are worth.
Well, yeah. I mean, compared to other stuff that are like, cards of like 32, 36 cards in a set. This is 162 cards. I get 162 PSA 10 cards for $5,600 on average.
Yeah.
I'm inspired.
You're gonna start this now, aren't you?
I don't know if I would do it with Impel, that's for damn sure. But
I think Impel, I think Impel would be the one to do it with, though, because it's got the names, it's got the design, and it's got the capability and print runs to where you're gonna have.
But you know what? I can find Championship Marketing, which I like a lot better. Same year.
Oh man, that's even harder.
I think I would like to. That's a 110 card set.
The conditions on those, though.
I know, but I think conditions would be hard. It would be a fun project to invest in for the long haul. Like this is your many year investment type of thing.
Yeah.
And hey, unless your Uncle Danny can do it in 4 months.
Wow.
I think it'd be a fun project that you can just constantly keep leveling up to the next level until you get the highest registry on it. It'd be fun. And I just think I would probably go SGC with those because it'd look good in a tuxedo.
the Championship Marketing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah,
I think that would look fun.
I honestly think that with these junk sets, and I don't think I'm breaking any news, it's just my opinion based off what I've seen in sports cards, like the junk wax era, that there's such a nostalgia for, regardless of whether it's Marvel, baseball, basketball. I haven't seen a lot with football, but we could do football. Wrestling could be. I think there's going to start being people that are chasing registry sets. We've already seen it. We've talked about it in the wrestling card space. Yeah. Who is the real wrestling card king when it comes to a set? That's what I'm talking about. I think this could be a new thing.
It could be a new thing. Maybe that's the direction we start going in this hobby now, where it's like people who, but it'll be a niche within a niche, of course, because it's going to have people who just are just anti-graders about everything anyway. They don't care about grading at all.
Right.
And that's fine too, completely. But for the grading community out there who are looking for like a new challenge or a new thing they want to go do, it could be a cool, fun hobby, because we're talking about it. And the more I'm thinking about it, like that could be fun.
Yeah, maybe, and relatively affordable compared to.
Maybe I just start dumping all my Dextraluma stuff off and start getting my.
and that's another thing. We're getting a little bit off topic here as we close, but that's another thing I like to talk about is, you know what, you got all this Dextraluma stuff. maybe you decide you want to chase this other stuff that you do have more of an attachment to. That's okay. It's okay to
Yeah,
change your mind, take everything you
absolutely.
have, sell it, put that money into what you, and just keep the ball rolling.
It's the whole point of why I even got into Dexter Loomis stuff. I picked that particular star, one inspired by your Karrion Kross thing, seeing other
Thank you.
people out there doing stuff, that are just kind of like, this is my thing. I like this character. So you know what? I'm going to go after a modern guy too. And I just picked him randomly. Honestly, haven't watched a single match that's ever been in my life. So I just that I follow him on social media. I see his workouts. I'm kind of like, yeah, he's kind of inspiring, working out. It's not, but I'm not married to it, but maybe it's like, this becomes like my investment point. This was my entry ticket into getting something else bigger and better that now, you know what? I'm going to sell off all my Dexter Loomis stuff and go after this now, because this is a fun project that I don't have to be emotionally attached to, because I'm not a fan of this particular character, that character. I'm attached to this journey, this project. It's going to be fun.
Yep.
Like I'm stoked about this right now. Like I think I might do that.
Well, good. I'm glad. Here we are. We're supposed to be inspiring the fans, and we inspired the people doing the show.
All right, guys, I've got a whole bunch of these. This is 83 series, obviously Wrestling All-Stars. I got some 82 singles. I'm willing to sell all this stuff now to start investing in my new project. I'm showing them right here. Here they are. I'm showing them right here for the video people, but audio.
This is exactly what collecting is all about. Tony is selling his like world famous, obviously ungraded, but world famous, well-known wrestling card set, the set that set off wrestling cards, so that he can chase PSA 10 junk wax. Like that's what collecting is all about. I love it
because it's fun. It sounds like a fun project. Like, I'm inspired when I hear people go out there and take a different approach to the hobby.
Yes.
When I hear is it Caleb who goes out and does, is that him?
All the indie cards?
He does indie cards, but who am I mixing up then? Who's the guy who goes out there and does all he got all the Undertaker matches?
Oh, that's Caleb. The Street PC.
The Street. That's a cool, unique way to collect. And I love that. And I think it's so cool. And it's like, now with the registry, like, hey, maybe I'll pick something and go with that. Like maybe I'll go after a Fleer release or something like that, or or who knows? I don't know. I'm gonna start looking at what I got and I'd say, you know what? I like this set. I'm gonna go after it. I freaking love it.
Well, awesome. Here we are trying to inspire you, and we inspired Tony. But now I should have.
You know what? 85. 95 tops. Not 95. 95 action pack. 94 action pack.
Talk about another hard grade.
I don't care. It's gonna be fun. It's only 42 cards.
All right, let's close it out. I think we've covered a lot about Impel, guys. If you like the Impel set, if you want to do the set registry like I talked about, if you just want to go out and buy the the one Ric Flair card, or the Sting, or the Luger, or the Jim Ross cards in there are cool. Just go out and check these cards out. They're not, they may not, although I guess if the set registry is a thing, I don't think they're going to inherently hold a ton of value.
At the very least, they're an inspiring set, because I'm now inspired because of it.
Not only did they inspire you, they inspired the indie feds that are doing the borrowing of the design, and just the first inaugural release of WCW cards. This is one of those things that is like, it's all about the set is completely for collectors and not the investor crowd, because I don't think there's going to be a ton of money in this stuff, even if people start set registry collecting this thing.
Yep.
But it's fun. It's nostalgia, takes us back to the 90s. It is, there are some landmarks in it. Like I said, it's the first WCW set, and it's got the Brian Pillman cards in his first year. He had actual wrestling cards. So anything else you want to say about Impel before we close it out today?
I'm liking Impel more and more now. I like that. It's a good set. I think it's the best set I've ever made. Love it. I can't understand why there's no $20,000 cards in this set, because I'm super stoked about it. No, I'm actually really I'm looking at this set again, here we are just talking about a basic card set that really has no massive value to it from a collectability standpoint or long-term investment. From a collectability standpoint, it could have any kind of value to you, depending on, obviously, but here it is. It becomes a a laughing set we all laugh about for a while. We talk about it. We made a whole episode. I can't even believe we did a whole episode about it. And then here in this conversation, it's causing like, I'm not kidding you, Zhan. I'm seriously like, I'm inspired by this this conversation of like,
It could be fun. I agree.
like I'm going to go and think about this. I'm going to sleep on my tonight. I'm going to be like, all I'm going to think about, like, what card set do I want to go after now and try to be and create a registry for? So like that could be fun. That could be fun. Then I could go and take my accomplishments, put it on social media, and become the big cheese.
I think it's a good idea. You should do it.
I got to figure out what set I want to do.
We'll see. And on that note, let's close it out. Tony, let everybody know where they can not only find you and the information that you provide for WTC, but where they can find your new set registry escapades.
Well, first off, I will like to say we'll be selling off all these 82 and 83 All-Star cards now because I have a new goal in mind. There's, you know, they're all. I'm not a condition guy. I'm not a grader, so yeah, I talk about grading because I only know what I learned from you guys and stuff like that. And I've done a little bit of grading myself. So, but I couldn't tell you what these would grade. So, but I will be happy to share with anybody what they are and give me a nice fair price for it. And I'm going to take that money and reinvest it into my set registry goals. But you can contact me. Anything about wrestling cards will be on wrestlingtradingcards.com. Email, all social media links are on the bottom of every single page there. Links to everything, YouTube. So yeah, I think I need to go put a link on there now for the audio version now for the WTC shorts. I don't have it on there. That needs to be added on there, but it's a new program that I'm doing now where they're exactly what they are. It's not just a catchy name. It's what I do. It's a WTC short. They're, 8 to 12 minutes long about random topics, and then looking for max engagement on those to have conversations about them. So you can go on there, listen to them on any popular Spotify, whatever the hell, Apple, all that stuff, and just give them a listen to, and let me know what you think. Tell me what I can do better at, because it's a learning experience for me. I'm not good like Zhan where I can do things by myself, so I'm learning. But just having some conversations that try to involve the world of wrestling cards.
Top Rope Con, don't forget.
And Top Rope Con. Thank you. It's such a new endeavor for me. I got to remember that. But I am the proud co-owner of TopRopeCon.com. It'll be our first show. It'll be September 17th in Tampa, Florida at the Florida State Fairgrounds. Go to TopRopeCon.com for all the information and all the social media stuff there, and buy your tickets. Be a vendor. I'd love to have you there.
And you can find everything I'm doing. Again, links to all of Tony's stuff as well as my stuff in the show notes of this. So when you're done listening, just scroll down, check the show notes on your phone, click on the links if you'd like to see what we're up to, show us some support, whatever it is you want to do if you're enjoying this show. Check out Wrestling with Cards on YouTube. That's where all this started for me.
Highly recommended.
Thank you. Check out Wrestling with Cards, the solo podcast, kind of like what Tony's doing. You never know. It could be a 5-minute episode. It could be an hour. You never know what's going to go on over there. And then make sure to check out all the other stuff I've got going on. Patreon, try to build that community. There's a lot of cool stuff that I have some stuff in the works that is going to be Patreon exclusive members, whether you're a member at $1 or whether you're a member at $15. Very cool video project that I haven't started working on yet, but I've got kind of the groundwork laid for it. And really looking forward to doing that for everybody in the Wrestling with Cards Patreon community. And the best thing you can do for this show, whatever you're listening to this on, please subscribe, leave us a review. Both of those things are free and don't take very long to do. And tell a friend about the show. If there's somebody that likes wrestling cards or wrestling sports cards, it doesn't matter. Anybody that likes collectibles, if you want to talk about today, anybody that likes Impel and can give us further information on Impel, tell them about this show. And we'll just keep growing the community and growing the listener base. You got anything else?
Yeah, I just
you're on this now. I can tell.
I'm on it. I'm the wheels are spinning on what I want to do. Yeah, this is why Zhan has no friends and why he never answers the phone, because he's so busy putting out content left and right for everything. So
and plotting and scheming these ideas that we've been talking.
Well, that's what you do at work. That's what work pays.
Yeah.
You don't actually do any real work. Come on, let's be honest. You just sit there plotting and scheming and editing and doing all your stuff you can do from work, and then comes home, and then the poor wife never sees him, and then just goes out there and puts out more content. So
Pretty
subscribe.
accurate, actually.
Yeah, subscribe to all of his stuff. Yeah, I've known you now for what, a year and a half or so, and I think you've answered the phone twice for me.
Pretty much, yeah.
Of course, I'm actually batting 1,000. I think I've only called you twice. So,
oh well, yeah, I don't get many calls, and half the time, like I got my phone here, but a lot of times I don't even have my phone with me. It's another room or something. So,
but so yeah, I think I have to go back and check my phone. I'm pretty sure those were like historical moments. So I put them on the calendar. It's like an annual celebration. So, but yeah, check out all of Wrestling with Cards stuff. Make sure you like all the stuff for Worlds Collide. But we're just sitting here doing what we can, man, to help keep the community growing.
Growing the community, growing the collector base, and collecting ideas.
A lot of new eyeballs on our product. AEW release from Upper Deck was a clear indication that we do have a lot of new people in this hobby. I, for the first time ever, myself, have been getting a lot of DMs and questions about people getting into the hobby after either being out of it for a long time or for the first time. So I'll be addressing some of those things on some shorts, I'm sure. And then, yeah, just, share the stuff. I mean, share our stuff, share Zhan stuff, share my stuff, share any other podcast you listen to that talk about wrestling cards. Just share it all. Share to everybody.
Agreed. And we'll leave it on that note. Thank you guys for listening. Again, subscribe and keep collecting and having fun, because if you're not having fun, there's no point in doing any of this. We'll see you.
Out.